Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. This collaboration is bringing back Basic Gray. It's in collaboration with Bourbon Creek Crafts here on YouTube and Stampin' Cat on Instagram. I'll link to them down below in the description. Today I'm going to try to craft along a bit so you can see. There aren't many people in this collaboration, so we don't have to be too careful about the length of our videos. We can get a little bit crazy. Mary had asked for some videos using 12 by 12. She wanted to see some cards that I made with 12 by 12. A common size that I make a lot is the black marker right here. I mix it up by eighths sometimes. Now I have loose sheets of 12 by 12 Basic Gray. And I have chosen these because they have a fairly small pattern and they have a pattern that will inspire me. This one has different colors so I can bring in different things. This one I just like, and they're not too directional, not too restrictive. This one would work too. I just don't love it. I don't know. I'd like it to be more angular a little bit. And then you could use this one. It might just get a little busy, and I think I'm going to busy mine up with embellishments. If we get on a spree and we want to make more, we can. We could use this one too. I could make this work. 12 by 12, you're going to make a lot of cards. So even if you love the paper, you don't need much of it. You could use a 12 by 12 sheet for your back layer, a more solid color. I have this purple one. The edges of this have been cut, not with a paper cutter. And there's pink. We know I'm not going to use that one. Let's see what else. Oh, well, we have more of this. So we have this green border. Oh, that is kind of cute. Okay, I'm going to use that. I was planning on using the gold because I have quite a bit of it. We'll use some of that, but I really like the green too. And we might be able to use the green. Yeah, we could. It's not exactly the same green, and it's actually a little boring. See how they lay? I like more contrast. So if I was going to use that, maybe I would use scraps or layer it up. I mean, it just pops better with something in between. Maybe you don't like a lot of contrast. Totally fine too. Okay, so let me show you what I would do, and then I'll tell you I wouldn't do it the same every time. Again, there's no rules. If this one's going to be my back page, I'm going to cut the whole thing, and if I get bored of it, we can use the other side too. And we could always trim them down to make the other layer. First, I'm going to get the branding strip off, get it as cleaned up as I can. Then I'm going to make, I have my card bases that'll be A2. I'm going to make pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to be my base layer. So if I have a 12 by 12 sheet and I know I want to make a bunch of cards, then I just slice it at 4. And maybe there are better ways, more efficient ways to use your paper. Maybe I don't do it all the ways the same. Maybe I do it this way because I'm talking. All of that is fine. The ends of this are a little battered, which is okay because I don't need the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim just a bit off of the end of each, because that way I won't have bent up corners. This paper is from 2009. It's been battered and beaten. So if you just opened up a brand new collection that you bought, it's going to be in much better shape. Okay, now I'm going to take that clean end. You can cut more than one at a time on this paper cutter, but I also will tell you that they'll slide, and maybe I'm not that good at it. Now I'm going to cut a couple of these, 5 1/4. And then of course I'm going to keep my scraps. And I was talking to someone who said she would like birthday cards, she would like get well, she would like thinking of you, miss you. I wrote it all down. She in no way said she would like crazy orange paper. But, you know, sometimes you just go with what you feel. So now I have these orange pieces. Oh, remember, we're using the green side on these. Doesn't matter, we could use both. So what I typically do is I lay them out. And it takes up a lot of space, and I change my mind, and that's okay. Then we're going to take this one, and we're going to make the next layer, which would be 5 by 3 3/4. This is not going to give you a card sketch. It's going to give you a base to use your embellishments, your random things, your butterflies, your die cuts, your stamped images on. So that's what I like about this. You, of course, could use card sketches or anything else that you want to. So I'm going to cut a bunch of pieces that are 5 by 3 3/4, and those will layer nicely on here. Notice that that's 1/4 of an inch different, so it's going to give me an 1/8 of an inch border. If this was a bigger pattern, like if I wanted the pattern to show, that would be too small, and I would want to go bigger. That's why sometimes I change my measurements. Sometimes I change my measurements based on, oh, I like one paper more or less or something. Okay, I'm just checking where it's beat up. This feels like a pretty good edge. We could use this edge. So I'm going to cut some strips that are 3 3/4. Talking and cutting is not my strength. Okay, we did it. And part of the reason I have them written down is then when you're watching movies or talking to your friends and crafting, you can still manage to get things right. Okay, so that's our first piece. If you have any doubt, check yourself. This also gives you the opportunity to look at it and say, do you like it? Does it need more green? Andrea would say we definitely need a bigger border. And that's one way that you can have some variety in your cards. You can trim some of them down a little so they don't turn out all the same. There's no right or wrong, but since I'm trying to get an efficient amount of cards made while we're talking here, I'm going to keep going. So 3 3/4, and I'm just checking the end to make sure it's not going to be trash later. And if it is, that's okay. Then that would be our card that we cut a little smaller, wouldn't it? Our layer, not the whole card, probably. And you can see I just lay them out. Now on this one, we're going to have a full length border because we're only cutting them 3 3/4 wide. So we're going to have a whole strip left. That's a nice scrap that we can use. We can use it to add interest, or we could use it with our scraps at the end. There's a lot of choices. Now, if you cut your paper different ways, you're going to get different size scraps, and maybe you like them a certain way. I like these too. These are nice to add interest right here. And then maybe you take, pretend this matches, a little cluster, or you have a little sentiment that goes right there. In that amount of time, we have 6 of these laid out over here. You can see 3, we have 6. And I'm keeping all the scraps because the scraps make super cute cards at the end. Now, before I turned on the camera, I grabbed a few things just so that you could see how I do this and not wait for me forever. Here's one that says, get well, and it's orange. That's cute. Not quite enough contrast for me, so maybe I grab one of the scraps and I go like this, and I put it across there, and there's a card for me. I think it could use some flowers or something, but there's an idea right there. Maybe I'll round the corners here. Wishing you a simply marvelous birthday. Which one do you like? The lighter or the darker? I can't hear you. I'm going to go with the lighter one because the color doesn't really match that well. The blue in the pattern paper is very periwinkle, and this is that Catherine Pooler knock your socks off gorgeous blue. That's not the name of it. If you haven't used a Catherine Pooler ink pad, oh my gosh, you should really try one. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm not measuring, I'm not anything. I'm just cutting it down to what I think is probably a reasonable size. Yeah, that looks pretty good, right? Then I'm going to lay it right here. Okay, I like that. If I put washi tape under it, it would be flat and I wouldn't have to fiddle too much. But if I took, say, this strip and put it across here and went like that, it'd be pretty cute. And I kind of like that too. And maybe I add some stars because there's stars on the thing. Okay, I'm going to cut this because it's going to be in my way. And I think 5, I'm going to cut it just a hair longer just in case I change my mind or something happens. And so then I have a piece for another card too. And this is how I do it. You could glue them all as you go, but I'm also kind of waiting to see, okay, do I like it? Is it boring? Now, any of these, when you have corresponding paper, these were from the same paper collection, so they do go together. I can flip it. I can put the green one here. And like I said, we could trim this down and put this here. Now, my target audience for these cards probably would not like this green mixed media grungy looking paper. That's just not going to be her style. So I'm not going to use a lot of that. But if they were for my sister, I probably would. My sister, the orange paper wouldn't be so good for her. She's not really cutesy. Then I have Warmest Wishes. This one's pretty cute. And I think it would pop on the orange. It does. But it would be cute with foil too. So let's see how that looks. Kind of enhance that foil. They're not the same foils, just so you know, but I'm pretty okay with that. This would be super cute with an oval die cut behind it, wouldn't it? Something like this. So this is how I do it. Before I glue these all down, I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna say, okay, what about some washi tape? I have, for reasons I can't explain to you, little green flowers right here. Those might be kind of cute. And there are different colors of green, so maybe some of the greens work. When you have papers with different colors like this, the papers will help you find things in your stash, and you just look around. And if you don't have anything the right color, maybe you could do something with mixed media, or just go to the metals or white, whatever works for you. Those are those cards. You get the idea. I will show you the end. I just don't want you to wait all that time for me and have to listen to the paper cutter. I love this paper cutter, but I know that sometimes in videos it sounds horrible. I love this paper, so I'm not going to cut it to the size of this green one because I want it to show. So I'm going to cut it to the size of the orange. And that is our card. Oh, okay, this one's our base layer. That's our green one. Our cardstock. When I wrote these measurements down, I was using a big pattern here, a cardstock mat, and a base layer. So that's more layers than we've done on these. So to mix it up on these next ones, I'm going to do that. And then I'll show you what that looks like. So maybe on these next ones, we'll use a bunch of this because I do have a bunch of this. We'll cut these to the 3.5 by 4.5. And then I'll show you just kind of how this is going to look. Sorry, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And again, I'm going to cut the narrower one in the strip. So I'm going to go 3.5. Works better if you move all your junk so you have more room. 3.5. And I could stop now and change up the cards for the next one. So maybe we'll do that. I never like to make the same exact card. Since I don't have the same embellishments, we don't have a big risk of that. But I don't know. That's just one of my pet peeves. Is that weird? I'm okay with it if it is. Okay, 4 3/4. 1, 2, and my smaller cutter I love to use, but it doesn't do 12 by 12. So this is my does everything, gets the job done. So now we have these, and they're a smaller size, but look how cute those ladybugs are. I feel like I might have green ladybugs somewhere in my stash. Okay, now I'm gonna cut this size, 5 by 3 3/4 in this. And this paper is a little curled. That's fine. We will put enough adhesive on it that it won't matter. And it does not matter what order, how you cut, as long as you cut square, it doesn't matter. Look how cute these are. Love the ladybugs. This is gonna go here, and we need a back layer. I'm going to put these either on, we have two choices, depends on how many card bases I have made and what's going on. I'm either going to put them on cream or white, and they could go either way. I have bases of both direction. We'll keep that in mind when we choose the next layer. You also could stop right here. Perfectly fine. no problem with this. Gorgeous 1/4 inch border, then you'd have your 1/8 of an inch border and your pretty paper. And maybe you have limited supplies. Maybe you're trying to keep it light for mailing. Maybe you just love the clean line and the 1/4 inch border. Totally fine. You can do any of that, however you want. I'm gonna peek in here and see if we have anything remotely useful in our basic gray stash that we want to use with this. It's on the back. Oh, this one's white on the back, so we can't do the flip trick. With Echo Park a lot, I cut them and flip them back and forth. There's pink in there. I can't use the pink. You know that, right? I just made a pink journal. I'm pinked out for a while. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, if we wanted to go orange and green again, we could, but I don't need to. Gray. Oh, those are cute. Okay, I'm gonna try this blue or this blue-gray, but I don't think I'm gonna use it because it would be amazing in a journal and it's just not that great with this. So that's what I'm looking at, is you're just gonna use so little of it and then you're gonna cover it up. I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to look around. I want to stick to 12 by 12 so we can show Mary. Okay, I had to stop myself because I like them all. I was having a great time. These are additional papers that I pulled out of my basic gray. We could go yellow. We could go with this green. It's sort of like a tealy gray green, and then it has splotches of orange which pick up the gold. Let me scooch you in. See if you can see that. So that one's fun. The yellow, I don't know. The yellow kind of pulls out the background more. The purple doesn't do anything for me. I would think Andrea would love the purple and the green though. The brown is kind of interesting. Just, you know, there's a lot of like wood grain and trendy, and it does make the green pop. I think the gold paper kind of gets lost, so I'm going to pull that one and say no. This one's fun because it has some of the shapes and it would have interest. Your card wouldn't be the same all the way around. So some places you might just have white. I probably wouldn't love that. I would probably turn it so that I picked up more of the pattern, and then maybe I wouldn't use the really white part. Then, oh, I like this one. Look at this one. This is a Bow Bunny, and we're using the back of something else that I like. Oh, that's cute too. I think I have another sheet of that though. And if you have a piece like this and you want to save that, you can always cut a strip right across here, and then you have one and you have the rest for cards or a journal page or pocket. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a piece right across here so we can make 2 cards with that. And I'm going to take some of this. Oh, this one's blank on the back, so we're not giving anything up. Oh, look what I found when I was going through the bin. This collection was Urban Prairie. It does have some pink in it. Look at this teal. That's fun. When you find the collection or some piece of ephemera or a paper with a bunch of patterns, it helps you figure out what else would go with it. Like they did bring in a chocolate brown here. All of this works. I like this. That's fun. So I'm going to chop some things up and then I will show you the finished cards. It is 24 hours later. I worked on these last night. I think I did 2 before work this morning, came home, wrapped them up tonight. So that gives you an idea of how long it took me. I have 10 cards here. They should look vaguely familiar because you watched me chop up the papers. I may have mixed and matched or gotten confused and not necessarily put them together exactly the way I showed you. This is a butterfly from the sticker sheet. This is Oh Happy Day and Happy Birthday that were in my sentiment die cuts already. I think this was from Smash Our Stash. I had cut a bunch of things. So I went through and found things I liked and used them. I did cut these items because I was trying to work in the ladybug. I don't know how I feel about it. Because these are basic gray and the stickers will allow it, I have added gold embellishments and also some glitter pen to this. The stickers and also the regular die cuts have some various additions to them. These were Happy Mail items. So the Just Because, I don't know if you can tell, it's on gorgeous iridescent paper. And then the Dragonfly is on shimmer paper. And I thought those were fun. Wishing you a simply marvelous birthday. And I had stars already die cut from this paper collection and sitting around. And then I pulled some little white ones. Just junk on the counter. This one has some pink and I like it. Okay, Get Well. I had a little trouble with the Get Well. I tore it a little, but I just refused to throw out the card. And then I have enamel dots and one in the center and then the big pink flower swooping across it. Thinking of You. This one is plain as can be, but I think I'm just going to leave it. Sometimes as I'm tidying up, I think, oh, that's the perfect thing for that card. But I love the simplicity of it and the paper shines. When I make cards with patterned paper, lots of times what I'm doing is using the patterned paper section as like a canvas to decorate and work on. So that's why you'll see me make these same sizes and then the cards turn out completely different. This one has washi tape underneath it, then a sticker, then some enamel dots. I used white pen around it. Okay, I tried some things. I really like this one. It's very simple. The Miss You is layered 2 die cuts, I think on 110 pound. That turned out really cute. And then just some enamel dots and a sticker on top of washi. I really do like that one. My horizontal and vertical cards were determined by how many card bases I had. I had 1 vertical. I like this one too. This is the corresponding paper collection and it was sitting on the counter from another day when I was playing with this paper collection and the Get Well, and then I put the green flowers just around that side. I like things that are asymmetrical and I have fun that way. This one I thought about putting enamel dots or something on, but I just kind of loved it. And I have paper scraps on the inside. If you are looking for more of a 12 by 12 template, be sure to check out Jess Crafts on February 17th, 2022. She has a really cute template for 12 by 12. So if you want those are a fun way. And also the one that she has on that date leaves you about that much space to use as a canvas. Sometimes having the whole front blank is a little intimidating. And so if you give yourself a smaller space, maybe certain die cuts or certain stickers make more sense and inspire you. This can be overwhelming for new card makers. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Bourbon Creek Crafts and Stampin' Cat in the description down below. Bye-bye.